sustainable solution given the role of the Syrian people and their rights in determining their own destiny. These are the axes and our principles in the shaping up of any solution that could be raised and studied in the Geneva II conference. Like you also noticed, Mr. Brahimi stressed Iran's participation in the Geneva II, and this is indicative of the fact that in case a sustainable and realistic solution is going to be put forth regarding Syria, then all the factors and all the major players who can be instrumental in coming up with a solution. They should be envisaged in the Islamic Republic of Iran as a country that has always opposed any kind of military solution since the outset of this crisis and always asked for a political solution. Well, the solutions that proposal that we have made, maybe this was one of among the most progressive solutions. And as time went on with the continuation of the negotiations, this realistic approach of Iran, which is also very progressive, this gradually showed and proved its positive dimensions. So the interactions of other countries and actually their approach regarding necessity of Iran's presence, it means that there is a necessity for interactions with Iran. And hopefully the Syrian crisis, that's really complicated, and there are various factors that have been effective in further complication of this issue, will move toward further utilization of diplomatic channels and the right solution. Greetings. Regarding a meeting between Mr. Marzieh and Mr. Amano, there was this proposal that Iran put forth to the IAA. If you could explain a bit about that, if it's not a secret one. Also regarding the meeting that's going to be held in Vienna this Wednesday and Thursday with our experts in the P5+1. Could you explain, there are some news that the Iran delegation, regarding Iran delegation and the makeup, if you could also explain who will make up the delegation and the agenda. Well, regarding Iran's proposal with cooperation with the agency, the talks are still ongoing in Geneva, so we don't want to have any effect whatsoever on the job of what our colleagues are doing in Vienna, so let's not comment on that at this stage. But I hope, like I also mentioned, that the proposals that we have put forth for the paving of the way for better cooperation with the IAEA, the initial signs will hopefully come to the surface today. Regarding expert level negotiations with the P5+1, Wednesday, that's tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, the talks will be underway. Well, the expert talks is within the framework of the agreements made in the last session at the sites. I said that it's necessary for experts to talk about sanctions in nuclear and scientific areas and to get involved in those issues so that they could discuss them in detail. So both sides came to this agreement. On the part of Iran, Mr. Ahmadinejad, they will be heading the expert committee. From the energy organization, mines, and also oil ministry, experts who are very well informed of the details of all the processes that will be taking part. And this, the two-day talks are supposed to deal with, because it's at expert level, so there should be, actually the results should be reflected to higher officials. So let's not discuss the details at this stage, because they're expert and minute issues, the publication of which at this level of news, it's not really the right thing to do, because they need to come to a conclusion so they could be instrumental and have helped to officials of higher echelons in order to make decisions. So we do hope that the approach that is being adopted with the cooperation with the P5+1 and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been seriously following it and is determined to see that conducted. So hopefully the other sides, we will also see, we have seen some positives. Hopefully the trend will go on the right way. Hopefully you will not have any of those threats. Well, the Islamic Republic of Iran has announced that there should be this united voice that we need to hear from Washington. Inside Iran, that we hear that there are different voices regarding talks with the U.S. inside Iran. There are some billboards in the capital city, and they were removed. There was a "Deaths to America" slogan. Now, the Geneva conference. What does the Foreign Ministry expect the media and the officials regarding this? Should we also have this united voice regarding interaction and talks with the U.S.? That's what I mean. Now, the second question regarding the new approach of the EU at the threshold of the Geneva meeting. The EU, in a letter to 12 companies that have interaction with Iran, it has asked them that the sanctions should still go on, and for the courts that have voted regarding cancellation of sanctions against Iran, they have created some challenges for them and problems. Now, given the vote of confidence measures, how do you evaluate such action, and how do you react to it? Well, first, regarding the second part of your question regarding EU's stance, there are lots of reports regarding that. Our official stance depends on practical measure and official announcement by official sources. Now, at this level, we can just put it this way, that a failed approach in the past was adopted, and that is the issue of pressuring and negotiation at the same time. So we hope is that the negotiating sides will once again not resort to this failed method, because that's proven ineffective. So naturally, the perspective that should be, we should look to the future. So we should have talks in order to come to results in official negotiations with the P5+1. Also, we did not face this pressure and negotiation simultaneously. So hopefully this will remain in the media and at the level of news, and the sources that want to see the past failed methods, they want to see that continue. Hopefully they will try to adapt themselves to the new approach and the interaction by the two sides in order to come to a fair and logical solution, which is based on removing mutual concerns by provision of the full rights of Iran. Hopefully they will adapt themselves to this new situation. Now, as for your first question, I already mentioned in the previous sessions that any kind of approach or policy adopted will not be endorsed 100% by everyone. Well, what's for sure, and Mr. President also mentioned, is that opposition within the law and on the basis of political game, this should be conducted that way. If it is based on law and based on the political game, if you will, if there are any comments or criticisms regarding this, and within that framework, as long as it's within that framework, then these criticisms will always be heard, and naturally the comments of the opponents will be heard, definitely, and hopefully the comments and criticisms will be directed toward provision of national interests, the popular people's trust in the negotiating team. Well, it will not cast any doubts regarding that trust. And actually, moving that way needs some collective work. So within the media's responsibility is that the people's trust regarding what's happening in the political arena should not be harmed in any way. And the analysts and groups and individuals who have opposing sides within the law, and on the basis of the principles defined, they will be able to raise their comments and criticisms. Actually, there is this right political game in which all sides will consider national interest and then make and take action accordingly. Please go ahead. From Al Manar News Agency regarding stealing Musa Sadr's file what has Iran done. That there are some people in prison in Libya, and there are some officials in Libya and also in Arab countries. They are that we think are kind of connected to the case. What's Iran's measure, the latest measure? What has it come to? Well, the kidnapping of Imam Musa Sadr and the termination of his faith is among the issues, and that the foreign ministry has always been pursuing and following closely. There's a committee that is formed by the Lebanese government. Contacts have been made through various official channels, and they are ongoing. At the same time, the family of Imam Sadr are also following the issue, and all of these efforts are continuing. And still in the talks we have with Lebanese officials and Libyans and all the other sources that could be of any kind of help to help us determine the fate of Imam Musa Sadr. We're following it on our agenda. And we hope that we will have some good news regarding his fate. Please go ahead.
One question.
From Etilat newspaper. Recently, there have been some documents released regarding Americans actually spying on 35 officials from different countries who have been bugging their conversations. I want to know if we have any information to say if regarding Iran officials the same thing has happened.